You know that feeling when you really want to love a movie and you can see the potential, it's almost great, but it just never gets there? And that constant state of almost is so frustrating because you can tell it could have been amazing and instead it's just a lot of almost. Yeah, that's the creator. And believe me, the last thing I want to do is tell you that I'm disappointed with a new original sci-fi film. I love sci-fi, it's my favorite genre. I'm always rooting for original sci-fi to succeed because we don't get enough of it these days, and The Creator was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. So let me start with this. I have so much respect for Gareth Edwards making his own original sci-fi blockbuster. This seems to be almost a lost art at this point, and he goes all out. The Creator is an epic sci-fi action thriller depicting a futuristic war between humans and artificial intelligence. The story focuses on Joshua, an ex-Special Forces agent who is recruited to find and destroy an advanced AI weapon, supposedly with the power to defeat mankind and end the war. What Joshua doesn't expect, though, is that the weapon is a 6-year-old girl. This sends him on a personal journey to re-examine his beliefs about AI as he begins seeing things from a different perspective and learning the truth about the past. And here's the thing, as far as the visuals and the world building go, The Creator is pretty great. But if that plot sounds like the most basic sci-fi action thriller plot ever, it's because it is. How many times have we seen this story play out on screen? A tough guy with nothing to lose is on a mission to protect a special child and discovers humanity and purpose along the way. But you know what? It's possible to make a basic plot work, and thematically, exploring what it means to be human is one of my favorite sci-fi tropes. The problem is that on top of this, the dialogue is questionable, the logic is questionable, and the science is questionable. I don't want to get into too many details because I don't want to spoil the movie for you, but let's just say I got left with a lot of why questions. And I'm not talking about the good kind of why ambiguous movies make you contemplate. I'm talking about things like, why does AI that was supposedly created to protect us have worse aim than humans? Why are we bombing villages when these robots are clearly vulnerable to EMP? And my favorite, why are the girl's abilities only there or not there when it serves the plot? There are so many details like that holding the movie back. I could rant about them for a long time. And while it might seem like I am just nitpicking, when the writing isn't giving you much, the visuals can only take you so far before you start questioning logistics and the fact that my mind wandered enough to do this during the movie is not a good sign. The visuals, though, we have to talk about them. Every frame of The Creator feels like a lived-in world you wish you could step into. The alternate history opening montage really sets the scene, and from that point on, I was fascinated by the details of the potential future Gareth Edwards brings to life. The overall look and style of futuristic technology is beautiful. Seeing the differences in the design of these robots depending on their function is really cool. The way they are integrated into everyday life in the part of the world where AI is not banned is interesting to watch, even though it did make me wonder why those areas aren't more advanced. I wish we spent more time in the cities because those parts of the movie had a bit of that Blade Runner quality to it, but unfortunately, this isn't the big part of the story. If you've seen the trailer, you already know this movie looks great, but seeing it all unfold on the big screen is even more impressive. The bottom line is that if The Creator had the quality of the writing that matched the quality of the visuals, it actually could have been one of the best and most exciting original sci-fi films of at least the past 10 years. But as impressive as the world of The Creator is, I found it impossible to ignore the painful painfully average and occasionally very questionable script. What frustrated me the most is that the story had the ingredients to be great, but never managed to put them together. There are all of these ideas about humanity, about empathy, about the nature of AI, about demonizing something that feels different, that are never fully fleshed out beyond their basic concept. There are also smaller world-building things and secondary relationships that get abandoned pretty quickly. At certain points, it even feels like there are parts of this movie that are missing, that were left on the cutting floor, and that sometime later we're going to get a 3-hour-long director's cut that's going to make everything click. Because even with this basic of a plot, narratively, this movie does not flow as well as it should. I also can't say that it delivers the emotional impact it's clearly aiming for. There are parts of this movie that were very obviously meant to be big emotional moments, and yet I barely felt anything, which is actually pretty rare for me. I'm a very emotional viewer, but here, the only scene that even came close to making me emotional was the big climactic scene at the end. And even that was not because of the power of great writing or great storytelling. It was because of the two excellent lead performances by John David Washington and Madeline Yuna Voiles, both of whom carried this movie on their shoulders and really did deserve a better script. Listen, I don't want you to think that I hated the creator, because I didn't. It's not terrible or unwatchable. It's just fine. And that is very disappointing because I wanted this movie to be a lot better than fine. It's a visuals first sci-fi thriller that aspires to stand out, but really only manages to recycle some classic sci-fi movie influences and genre tropes, relying on the world building to do the heavy lifting. Beyond that, it doesn't have much to offer, and even Hans Zimmer's score feels uninspired and not very memorable. The two leads are great and they really make the most out of what they're given, but with a lackluster script holding the movie back, the performances and the visuals can only take it so far. Still, I think there are going to be a lot of people who enjoy the creator, and as a diehard sci-fi fan myself, I truly hope the film succeeds at the box office so we can have more original sci-fi blockbusters made for the big screen. And if you want to know what my favorite movies of the year are as of right now, check out this video next.